What's up, Squid Schoolers? Big stretch. Stretch. Okay. Somebody read the notification. Why, yes, I did get a haircut. Thanks for asking. No jump scare. Boo! Did it work? Look on the stream. Thank you. And have fun at work. What is your opinion? What, in your opinion, is your favorite type of dualies? So, are we talking favorite or are we talking best? Favorite Tetras. Best, dually squelchers, maybe? Probably dually squelchers. Maybe Tetras. Hard to say. Is that a Pringles emote? Yeah, that's literally just a Pringle rotating in badly rendered 3D. Huh. Intriguing. Squiddle schoolers? I don't know. Stretching video? Yeah, I'm having to live by it. But sometimes, you know, the video ideas suggest themselves. My hands were really starting to tighten up for a while there, and they're still feeling kind of like that. Anyway. We are on time today. We've got both of our Squid School VOD reviewees sitting in the waiting room VC, so I am going to pull them in here with us. So here is Taekwon Bird, and here is TheWorGuy. What's up, guys? You're welcome to mute yourselves. You're welcome to, you know, you don't have to say anything or anything like that. Or if you want to use callouts, you're able to do that as well. And you're also welcome to ask questions. I will get going making the lobby here, which I can actually make from the best seat in the hat. No, I can't make it from here, apparently. Oh, well. Guess I have to give up my spot. There we go.
Okay, well, hello.
Hello. I am going to really quickly turn the volume down on that. Probably have to with Taekwon Bird as well, just in case. Say more things.
Hello.
Okay. You're a lot quieter, so I can actually have you all the way up. Cool.
Okay, alright.
Damn.
That works. Okay. And I think there's that. All right. And I believe I DM'd you guys both the super secret password that will not be said out loud on stream, so it can remain super secret. If that is incorrect.
Yeah, I read that.
Okay, cool.
I don't think you sent me anything.
All right, I will go and get that for you in just a second. I just need to cover up the password with a kitty cat.
Kitty.
And then we're good to go. Okay. So I'm sending this to TheWorGuy. Is it WorGuy? Is that how that's spelled or pronounced?
Yeah.
Gotcha. There it is.
Okay. And how do I join it?
So you'll go into the lobby. You'll press the L button to open that matches menu. And then you will tab over using the bumpers to the friends area. It's the fourth one. And you should be able to find mine right there. Oh, wait, I did a derp. I did a derp. I made a private battle. My bad. This should be anarchy.
And then am I friends with you on Switch?
I don't have you online on my friends list, by the way.
Well, that would be an issue. That would mean that I did not go and accept the friend requests that I received. So, let me go and fix that up real quick.
Well, I didn't even send one to begin with.
Gotcha. Well, that would be the first problem.
Yeah.
Let me send you my code real quick. There it is.
Thank you.
Is it Bogle-kun? Is that one of
Yeah.
you? Okay.
Bogle, yeah.
For me, it's just the same name.
Okay.
All right, gotcha.
Oh man, I'm so excited. There we go. We were waiting to become friends, but we didn't have to wait
Yippee.
anymore. And there you are. I'm the VORGuy. Homie. Okay.
I think Vemo's better.
Valid. Wrong, but valid.
How dare you have a different opinion from mine?
Okay. I would like to thank our cat sitting in the rice cooker for their continued patience. They've been a very good cat, despite their causing us to not be able to make rice. They are now dismissed from duty, and we thank them.
Thank you, Podcat.
Okay. Clam Blitz Mincemeat and Museum. I do love me
This
some
should be good for
mincemeats.
me.
I can acknowledge that Mincemeat is probably not a great competitive map, while still really liking it a lot. It is fun. Okay. And I'm going into it with the single most ridiculous outfit.
Wait, this is Clam Blitz?
Yes.
Yep.
And then Duvy was actually first in the chat today. Duvy, would you like to join us and assist? Or will Duvy be unavailable? The cat is not dead, the cat is simply dismissed from duty. They have gone back into a corner to lick themselves now that they are no longer needed for our purposes. Sharing my code. There's no reason to grab my code right now because I will be playing specifically with the VOD reviewees. Devi says we, which I'm assuming means we should expect her shortly. And if that is an incorrect assumption, then let us know, please. Okay.
Alright, I'll stick with 52.
Never a bad choice.
Yeah. If you look at my battle tag, it's very fun to be the evil 52 guy.
Since this is about awareness, what's your opinion on scope chargers in comparison to unscoped? They definitely have their pros and cons. I generally find it's more a matter of personal preference, although people tend to be able to play both at least reasonably well once they've got the muscle memory down for it. There are some places where the extra range actually matters, so it's sort of situational, I think, but I personally just, you know, the little that I've played of Charger prefer unscoped for the extra vision, or the extra movement options. Just can't VC while playing. Yeah, no worries, Debbie. No worries. Debbie's doing E-Leader boot camp.
Yikes.
Beat my second Yokozuna last night. Let's go. And I only got 10 bronze scales to show for it. Rip. Alright, here we go. Ooh, I am not hearing the woomies and the vimos of the people. I must fix this.
Damn.
Which means I will be squid partying briefly. Okay.
We got back, we got back.
Oh shit, right.
Woomy, 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 woomy.
What you doing?
Yeah, there we go, there we go. Good pick on middle. Two on mid, two on mid. Push them.
Okay, shit.
Actually, three in mid.
Fuck.
Got one of them. Got another. And a brief reminder just to try and keep the language down.
Sorry.
Oh,
All good, all good.
Sorry.
Can be a tough habit to break sometimes.
Yeah.
We're gaming. Ah, there's someone on my left. But they did not pursue. Got one. Another one down, nice. I'm gonna bubbler over the top here to get us in. Hold on.
Oh.
Yeah, I missed my movement a little bit there. Careful with the 2 power clams, that'll reveal you both.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just trying to charge special, honestly.
Making sure we don't get flanked on the left here.
Oh, man.
Okay, Dooley's down below.
Got him.
I should have called that I was going for that.
Ow.
We're 2 down, back up.
They got try, Zuka.
Just me. Oh shoot.
2 on top mid. Got 2.
Oh, there's an ink
Got
brush.
3. Last one mid. Got them, that's wipe.
Nice.
Oh, wipe out. Go.
You wanna push?
I keep forgetting that
Got
block
one.
is available. There's a power there, but don't get baited to die for it.
Okay, well I broke their basket once. That's good.
Yeah, but if I'd been a little bit quicker on that, we might have been able to follow up better. Catcher's on right.
Oh, nice.
Be careful, we're 2 down.
Okay.
2 power
And they
clams.
have 2 clams.
Oh, that's a Zuka.
Okay, well,
Nice.
got the ink brush. Got the octo
Hey.
and okay.
Okay, we're good.
Dooley's on me, below.
Trying to get a tag. Oh, we missed it.
2 there, 2 there. Nice.
Okay.
Okay,
Nice.
nice.
Oh, that's a bomb.
Okay, I got one.
Brush is still left. Petra's on left.
Ow.
Got Tetras.
Power clam coming
Right.
up.
They're trying to push. Uh-oh.
Oh, I killed both of them. They broke it.
1 on the block.
Got him.
Nice. I don't see anything else unless there's someone sharking left spinner.
Oh.
Okay, nice pick. Let's go in and flank the backside of mid. They're flushed out left. Focus left. Nice.
Ow. Oh.
Have
I might go
7.
down here. I'm good. Brush is weak on right.
Getting out. Okay.
Brush on backside mid. Oh, someone dropped on me. Got him. I'm down to brush though. Nice pick. Just their brush. Let's get some mid control. Paint up right and left side.
There's a
left
brush
side.
coming up.
Coming to mid.
Okay.
One top spinner.
Shot left side too.
Alright.
Dooley's down. Brush back aside of mid.
Okay, got him.
Whoa, brush behind me.
Octo.
You're weak. Nice. One on left, brush. Nice pick.
Okay, nice.
Ooh.
They don't have a clam, so that's game.
Nice.
Nice.
Easy stall.
Okay, I can VC. I just
Hello.
hear the game.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no,
Good to
my
have you,
audio mixer just kind of died, so
Oh.
I can't hear both.
What I do is I just listen to computer sound and have the TV turned up just loud enough that I can hear
Well,
it.
see, here's the thing. I play on a computer monitor, and I can't turn up the
Oh.
computer monitor. So...
Gotcha.
Also, whoever has the power clam, I think the gal held on to it majority of the game. Throw it to me.
Yeah, Devi's position is always being telegraphed by the laser anyway, so
Holy!
Oh,
not giving
yeah.
a ton away.
Oh, 20.
That
Two.
was quite the game for me for first game and no sound.
Yeah, well
Okay.
played. I remember just being
Rushing.
like, oh hey, that player that I'm looking at is down now. That's nice. I'm gonna go grab some water. I'll be right back.
Stay hydrated, kids.
Yeah, I discovered last night in comp I'm gonna have to put myself in Charger boot camp a lot sooner than I thought. So I can only
Oh, hey, he better be quick.
play what I want to when we actually have a tacticooler on our team, so I can use it as a third object to hide behind.
Okay. Woomy.
Vimo.
Ooh, yeah.
Someone below me on the left. Two left.
Ooh.
I'm starting to push left side. Watch for them to get displaced.
Watch out on the right. There's a dynamo and this.
One came over on left.
I see him. I got him.
Dynamo top mid.
Oh,
Dynamo's going for me.
that's mine.
Like
Dynamo
hardcore
is on
chasing me.
top.
At our basket.
I got the dynamo, but there's a up
Alright.
your bomb.
Just me and Devi.
Oh no, not.
Sloshing machine.
Just
the
me.
boy.
Got two.
Okay, guys.
Nice.
Three down. Push up. Get mid control.
Just
and-
Dynamo. Where's Dynamo? They're left truck.
I got the dynamo.
Okay, nice.
Okay, I got a power clam.
Stringer weak.
Someone low left.
I almost got my special.
Got one.
There's a fly in my face.
Got Dynamo. 52 on basket. Weak.
Shredded the wall. Oh, one's underneath.
One dropped left. One dropped left. On you, Bogle.
Ah,
Whoever has the power clam, give it to me. We can just work with the one.
Yeah, I got that up a little too late. Be more preemptive with that.
I'm
Oh, yeah.
down to the stringer. Also,
Careful, don't
Vogel,
stagger.
when you see me up in a high spot, take the low spot around me. That way we're not taking
there's someone
double
to our
aggro.
left. The left.
Right.
They're booyahing.
Oh, I'm dead.
Me too.
I got the sloshing
Yeah, power
machine.
clam, they're going. Basket.
Ouch.
There we
Okay.
go.
Killed the gal.
We need to get some paint back.
One underneath left.
Dynamo
now.
on me. Dynamo left. Dynamo left.
You were the only one over there.
I know.
Couldn't save you in time.
Ouch.
Oh dear. One's coming up this wall.
Dynamo
Vogel,
left.
out in front of
I
you.
see him. It's the slot machine.
I'm gonna
Oh.
die.
Oh.
Vogel,
Got
I need you to
Dynamo.
take. I need you to take another side away from where I'm standing, because it's a prime backline position. We can't have two people around.
Okay.
I need you to follow Gem more, please and thanks.
Two top left. One on
Ooh,
me.
yeah. Stringer got me.
Got him. Oh. Traded Dynamo.
I'm getting absolutely bullied by this machine.
Ouch.
Their tag is Dynamo, and their name tag is the one and only Dynamo.
Oh.
Two on left. Two dropping left. Help.
Oh. okay.
There's a
Two left.
machine on me on the right. I'm trying to dodge its shots. I can't.
Mm. 52 got me left. They're coming over the block. Nice.
I
52 weak.
Oh, I got two of
Two.
them with the.
52
I got
down?
two of-
That's pretty.
Oh,
Dynamo's last, left side. Got Dynamo. There's a jump to him. I'm gonna get that too. Got him.
Nice.
Someone dropped low
Stringer
left
got
on
me.
you, Jim.
Yep.
Another one. There's another
Last one, me.
Gallon.
Oh, I thought.
I got the dynamo.
Okay, we need a clam.
I think I'm just gonna start gathering.
I have no clams.
I have 6 right now.
I got one.
Ooh, you do. Hold on, I'm gonna pass them to you.
Jim, above you left is 2.
See him.
Hey,
Potentially 3. There are 3 under their clam goal. Potentially all 4.
One dropped on me.
Oh,
Up.
Gallon me. Oh, you got me.
One gonna come up over the top here. Dynamo.
uh-oh.
Oh.
Oh, this is gonna
I
be
got it.
close.
Dang it.
We just need to find a way in from different sides.
Got one.
Oh, one's gonna come in from the side and score.
Got another. I am gonna be
See him.
jumpable. I'm jumpable.
There's a
down.
dynamo trying to score! There's a
I
Got him.
can't get up there.
Yeah.
Even if I jumped, the dynamo would have beat me to it.
Machines-
They were, they
Aw.
were,
It's-
they were,
Aw.
they were
Right,
tacticoolered.
I didn't. I knew we had 3 people back there, and so I was hoping that, like, we were gonna be able to hold them off without the clam being able to jump.
They hadn't respawned yet.
But
That was the problem.
I don't know. We needed a way in, and that was the chance we were gonna get, so I took it.
No, I'm glad you took the way in. It was just unfortunately the dynamo tacticoolered themselves and bolted. So I'm like, I can't hit this angle right now.
But yeah, a good thing in general to be doing, especially for Bogle, will be to look at where I am and try to take an off angle on what I'm doing. That's
Okay.
going to get you a lot more value than standing where Devi is.
Gotcha.
Tips for Sploosh-O-Matic. So, this current edition of Sploosh is... It plays the rat weapon playstyle that I talk about in a lot of my videos, which I don't think is that good personally, but basically what you need to be doing is, like, always threatening a flank. And if you, like, run into any danger, you're going to play a lot like a brush, basically. If you ever get into any danger, you need to use your mobility to hightail it out of there. So that includes the curling bomb, which you're going to use for movement. And you're just trying to apply, like, constant pressure so that, like... Because ultimately what's going to happen is, like, against strong players, you're not really going to get that many picks playing that way, but you are going to force the enemy team to deal with you, and that by itself is a win sometimes for your teammates.
I have 7 right now.
2 in front of you, careful. Hydra drop
Hydra
right.
drop on right. I'm getting a zip caster.
Uh-oh.
Is the
Oh,
zip
okay.
caster on there?
Got stringer. I can camp the zip caster. Got it.
Tries on,
Yeah,
on
it's
the
just you
break.
Nice.
though. It's just you.
Tries in
Alright.
mid.
Hydra's looking backwards at me. I can probably just, like, get their teammates as they come in. Oh, I almost got that up in time. I need to be
there's a butt
faster
try
on
on
that.
me.
Uh-oh.
It's just that, it was just that try. Now, we got folks left.
Oh no, the
Can't get up
tries.
there.
Oh.
I got
We
one,
didn't try, we
and
didn't
the
get the
Hydra's
try.
Oh,
back
he's
on their
pressured.
side, so you should be good.
I got the ink
Still
jet.
one bottom right.
There are 3 back right. Hydra stringer and whatever one just threw toxicness.
One left truck. Actually, they dropped out.
There's a stringer below me. Oh, there's a. I got zip castered again.
Zipcaster's weak. Got him.
Okay, nice.
So that's why the try stringer felt safe being there. Okay, Hydra's still watching right. Our way in is through mid and then left if we can get there, but we need something to throw at the Hydra in the meantime. They're pushing. They're pushing.
I
Yeah.
got him. Booyah bomb.
Oh, man, just try string.
Again, front lines, if you have a power clam, throw it backwards so that way you can be more stealthy.
Good job getting the try there. That's 2 down. Let's start trying to
Yep,
move
I've got
forward. We
mine.
just be careful about the
Got my
Hydra.
killer whale ready.
Okay, we're all standing by me. We cannot be bunched by me, please and thank you.
Hydra's down.
Oh, I'm getting zipcastered again! The squid rolled. Hooray. Try is going.
Slosher down. And by try, we mean try slosher because it's a Splatoon 2 habit.
Yeah.
It's called stringer.
I'm gonna die to whale. Okay.
Hold on.
I feel
I
very.
almost died.
I am getting very claustrophobic with whoever's the brush right now.
Sorry.
Yeah, again, do not stand where Devi is. Be in front of Devi or beside Devi, but never right where they are, because we need to not draw aggro to them.
Sorry, Gem, I didn't mean to throw that at you.
All good, all good.
Okay, I got one.
Oh,
Good
the
booyah
booyah.
bomb.
I'm down to the booyah. Could move forward. This map is generally very claustrophobic, to be fair. There are not a lot of places to stand in
I'm
general.
getting zipcastered again. Okay. It is, but I mean, if I'm up on the high ground, then I'll go there. If I'm on the low ground, usually someone's already on the high ground.
Help on
Try
left.
left.
We're still 2 down on left.
Oh my goodness. There's one pushing basket.
Got it. Okay.
They're alone. The other 2 are backed up. We should be, let's have 52 take, let's have 52 take low ground so we can put walls for us.
Okay.
I think that'll help us get through. The
Ow.
Hydra's a big problem.
They're pushing.
Not anymore.
Got the Hydra.
Oh, we need a clam. I have 4.
I have none.
I'm dead.
We need to save that clam eventually. There we go.
Up. Okay, I've got a killer whale.
Alright, let's go in with that. That's all we got.
That too.
Watch over the Splatana on the right, low right.
Ugh, double
Oh,
toxicness.
yeah,
We cannot move.
Yeah, I noticed, what is it, 52 was taking a lot of my high ground spots, so I'm like, okay, I'll go low ground. And then I kept running side by side with the brush, every single direction. I'm like, where are we going?
I'm sorry.
I had no idea where to position there, because I'm trying to get away from people, but I just end up
Man, I did terrible.
elsewhere. So I got pinned by the Splatana and the Tri-Slosher too much that game. But
Slatana was bullying you all game.
they would catch me every time I tried to reposition from you guys, so I had no charge ready or whatsoever. So I'm like, well, bye.
Like, I just don't know how to get close to the enemy well enough.
Your wall is the
Your
is
wall,
best
yes.
tool.
Well, I'm
what do you
being
want?
brushed.
Oh, the brush.
Oh,
Okay.
My
Well,
bad.
that
So
is
your
very
job is to threaten to get close to them, but not to actually get close to them if it's not safe. As long as they are looking at you and like not shooting at the wall, for example, you're doing your job, even if you aren't actually managing to get picks that way.
Okay.
Obviously, if they don't see you, then yeah, you go in for the flank and punish them for it, because that means they're looking at us instead. But you're kind of playing the aggro game. If they're looking at you, then you just run around in circles and distract them. If they're looking at us, then you go for the flank. Alright.
A machine top left.
Got him.
There's another one though.
Ouch.
Yeah, still 2 on left. 2 on left. I'm pushing them now. Oh, Julie's found me first. They're on right. Careful, don't over-engage that. There's one above you with a
got
crab
me.
tank.
Uh-oh.
Oh, the one below me got me.
It's Tetras.
Nice point
They're on
sensor. All 4 on right. Got one. And the ball's down. They're going down to try and collect it. Got him. Nope, that didn't work.
There's 2 on the left.
Another one on my ouch.
I'm just trying to get paint for you guys here.
It's Tetris with machine below. Watch charger on left.
I got it. Someone's low right, too. Nope!
Okay.
They're down. Nice.
I didn't know how to react to that. Oh, hello, Swift. Back
Nice.
with up 2 bottom left.
I'm gonna pressure right. Got Squiff. Another one on me on left.
2 on the left.
From the left of me.
Uh-oh.
I am jumpable.
I'm dead though. I got pushed by the Tetris. There's still a Tetris on our little left. Gem, we're struggling.
Got me.
Coming back.
Tetra's right, going up blocks.
There's 2 on me.
Low
Got
left.
both.
Low left by our basket. Finding a way in. Behind the box. Behind the box. There you go.
Last one's
Oh,
left
yeah,
side. Thought they were left side. I don't know where they are.
I got one. Oh, I did the whole charger can hit behind walls thing.
Got one. One below
Well,
us.
I'm going. I got it in.
Okay, nice. That's probably it though. Unless.
I got
Okay.
another extra claim in. Oh wait, no, I didn't.
No, don't
Oh!
Okay.
Oh.
Oh my gosh.
Immediate
That
panic.
scared me.
Yeah, and I got chased by the Swift, so.
Oh man.
Yep, I saw the special. I'm like,
Oh, Tetris on left. You got me.
Yeah, I see.
We don't have to engage it right away. Be aware where it is. I'm almost there.
With,
No, left. There we go.
I-
Got it.
Okay, that's
I
2
got it.
down.
Didn't even get it.
Sorry,
Tetris.
stole it.
Okay.
Reach better. Tetras are shooting at that jump.
Got it. Got him. Yeah, I got
There we
him.
go. Oh, Squiffy's trying to move up.
Glad I didn't fall all the way.
One low left, one high left. One might drop left.
Tetris on left.
They moved right, too.
That's a really good wall.
Oh, I can't get
Got one.
Oh, that's a crab.
Yeah. I can get in behind them, I think.
Okay. I'm hiding from the crab right now.
The slosh.
Got 2.
Nice,
that. Oh, booyah. Oh, dang.
Yeah, make sure when you're throwing the crab, it's actually like up backwards, if possible. I should have just let that one die.
Whew. Okay. They're looking at me on right. See if we can do something with that. Well, I guess we just disrespect his aim and go in.
Yep.
Yikes.
This is a very bad jump.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter because I got one from it anyway. No way they let me get away with this. Okay, they didn't.
They almost did.
I did get 2 before I did go down, so...
One left truck. Squiffy's on the right.
Whipper down. Oh, Tetra's going mid.
I got the
that's
Tetras.
That's flash.
Oh,
Reef.
traded.
I got the Squiff.
We should be good there. Nice.
Thank you, Wave Breaker.
And that will be overtime.
Yippee.
All right.
And how much better did I do that round?
I wasn't paying a ton of attention. I was focused more on enemy positions there, which is definitely an awareness issue of my own. But different opponents, it's always kind of difficult to judge, just because, like, I feel like those players were just in general weaker than the ones that we played against before.
Okay.
But we got better results, so that counts for something. But you did have a really good like wall when you were pushing in that time when I talked about it, because it gave us useful cover and limited the angles that they could shoot at us from. I was able to get a pick off of that.
Well, again, I'm the ink brush.
Oh my god, I keep getting your voices confused. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I'm the
It's okay.
I'm the gal.
Double dualies roller.
On the low already?
Okay.
Too low on the right.
That was a laggy clam.
It's too really pushed back far
Yeah,
on the right.
I'm seeing what I can do about that. Oh, there's another one.
Behind you, behind you.
Got him. Oh,
Oh.
disconnect.
Well then.
Yeah, I thought it was
They
a
had-
really
they
laggy
had
clam.
They had a DC.
$20 a year.
Yep. $20 a year for our own systems to do the networking for them.
Yippee.
Hit him so hard the game crashed. I was gonna get a double there. It denied me my double.
And the game thought you were too strong.
Got first blood and couldn't deal with it.
Yeah, to answer chat, the mincemeat is my favorite up until the point where competitive makes me dislike it. I'm kind of savoring that for the time being. Savoring enjoying the stage that I know in my heart is not actually going to be good for competitive play.
Oh, let's go, Museum.
Museum's solid though. I play +5 cents. Not that it matters that much. As long as you can 180, you're fine.
For what? The blaster?
For literally anything, I think.
Oh.
I think every weapon should be able to 180 because sometimes people do just show up behind you.
One's gonna drop left.
Traded one. There's another one, two on right.
Oh.
Coming out to mid.
Yep. There's a blaster on me.
The bubble up.
Nice pick.
The blaster's backside of mid.
Oh, that's rapid. Ow. Okay, so they can hit that.
Far.
Yeah, that's the pro, not the rapid.
Yikes.
That is a really obnoxious weapon on this map. I will have to consider it.
It is.
Oh no.
They've got vac out on right.
Yank back.
Focusing left, because
Oh,
the
the-
vac isn't covering it at all. Got one. Another one on me. Got him.
Ooh, nice.
Very impactful ink vac.
Oh.
Rapids on right spinner. How do I get in on that?
Ask me for help. There you go.
There it is.
I didn't get him, but I'll push him back for you. I got one.
Oh, hi machine. What are you doing here?
Hey, we
I got it in. We
Nice.
both got it in. 2 for 1.
Oh, I died.
Oh. I'm gonna take your clams though.
Good.
I did not see that bomb.
Alright.
I'm not in there with you. I'm staying by base.
Yeah, it's fine. I was in a 1v3. I was just trying to get what I could and then throw the clams in. One over top mid.
Got one.
Machine left.
Oh, machine's
left,
on the
two
left
left.
one for me. Oh, I hit that? Hold on.
Two down.
How did I hit that?
One in basket.
At
Rapid.
ours.
All right. Inkwall for the win. Save me from that throw.
Nice.
One down.
In
They're
fact,
backing. They're backing.
Ah, they got me on right. Got my shot.
I got my special
Junior.
ready.
Careful, right there, right there. One drop left.
Got the
nice.
sloshing machine. The splatter. I've got the splatter shot.
Man, that was such a good snap, and then it just hit a big
Ouch.
bubbler. Complete waste of a good shot.
Oh,
I should have missed it out of spite.
Oh,
Watch right block. I might
I'm
try
gonna
to make a
get-
play there.
Getting ambushed.
Junior's
Oh
on
dear.
one.
There are 3 on the left side under that ramp.
I'm gonna go down to the junior here on right. Watch right block.
Watch out
They're
for the
coming right block.
Zuka.
Right block, right block.
Oh,
Behind you,
they're
war guy.
backing.
Well, up they missed one
missed.
at least.
Got a
They
double.
missed.
Stop it.
Oh, they
Where?
got
Nice.
next
Oh.
one though.
Booyah.
All right. Well, we got lead still. Better than I thought was gonna happen. One drop left, and one might be out
Sam.
far left.
There's
It's rapid
2
out
back
far
right.
left. I might be in trouble.
Oh,
Dropping
one
this.
behind you. Jump behind
Yes.
you.
They've been flanking that way every time. Got him. They've been flanking that way every time and then never finding me and missing all their shots. Rapid here
I
is
got my
annoying.
special
Nope.
ready.
Ah, Rapid got me
Need to
right.
Push.
Uh-oh.
Oh,
Up.
Yeah, they're dropping out left every time with that machine.
That's
Nope.
a Zuka. That is a
Zuka's down.
Zuka. Thank you.
Blaster traded.
Woo! Oh, I'm the
Actually,
last
no, it
one.
was
And there was
Blaster.
Oh, no.
the machine was beside me. I was occupied.
2 by our
How-
spinner.
okay, now I have one.
Oh, no. They're in
They're
vacuum.
backing.
Blow it up.
Oh,
Oh no.
one
DC's
came in
Oh,
left, got
no.
me. Just heavy.
Oh boy.
No.
I got Zuka.
Ah,
I don't think they actually get it in.
wait.
No, they do. They do.
No, they did.
Oh man. Well, that sucks.
We just lost our clam too.
We have another one.
Where?
3 on our spinner still.
We have our pity clam.
Just jump to Devi. Jump to Devi.
Jump, hurry! I'm not gonna be alive! No! Did we have it? Did anyone pick it up?
Well, I had it, but then I just died when you got there.
I was going to try and make the play that Devi was making.
I was
should've-
way ahead of you.
If I had known that you were there before I dropped, I would have just stayed and tried to help protect it.
I didn't even know I was going that way, and then I realized, I'm already here.
Oh my god, thank you so much, Ed. Your videos are helping me get not entirely terrible at Splatoon 3. Love playing, but felt I was doomed to eternally suck at it. You're not. Just wanted to say thanks. Yeah, absolutely. And thank you so much for helping support the channel. That's a huge deal for me. Okay, that brings us to VOD review time. Ooh, I got a new badge. What is this badge?
Thanks for telling us to hit stop. I greatly appreciate it.
Just press
Oh, wow.
sleep.
Just hit sleep mode on your Switch. It'll be fine.
I know, but I hate doing that because it messes everything up.
I just got a connection error, so
Yeah, thank God.
yeah.
What is this? Level 100 catalog. Oh.
Ooh.
Gem's got. Oh, Gem.
You are
already had the
nice job.
Yeah, I already had access to GemDab. You can look in GemDab archive and see what became of that.
Oh.
See what else you get for this. Oh, interesting. Got a catalog. This makes 2. I like Harmony.
Harmony's great.
Harmony might be my favorite character. Okay. So neither of you guys have replay codes, so we're going to be able to just work off of the YouTube videos. Do either of you need to leave at a particular time? Like, is there anyone we need to do first, or is it just whoever?
Nah, I'm available.
Okay.
Yeah, me
Right
too. I'm
now.
available as well.
Sounds good. Okay. We've got the VORGuys loaded up, and so we'll start with the VORGuys. How about that?
Okay,
Works.
that sounds good.
Okay. So I'm just going to get the thing with the thing and the stuff. And bam. There it is, but it's too big. Wait for it. Wait for it. Da 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 da. There it is. Here it is going to be for Discord. Just gotta share the screen with you. Okay. And now you should be able to go in the Discord VC, click my name, go to watch stream, and you will see it without stream delay. So that I can actually point at things and it will be useful. There's Slydra. Hello and thank you. Now, Harmony's just a kid. Harmony is like a 13-year-old kid. I totally understand what they're going for with Harmony. They're just like a teenager who got left in charge of the store and hasn't been in charge of things before, but is definitely responsible enough to do it once they figure out what the heck they're gonna do. All right. Why not use the replay system thingy? That is a good question. The reason we don't use it is because there are 2 reasons. One is that the camera smooths, so you don't actually see exactly what they saw on their screen. Even if you're looking at that one player, their perspective is not actually what they saw, and there are situations where you'll think that they had certain information that in fact they did not. Another thing that it will do is prevent us from seeing when they're checking their map, which is an important awareness thing and something that you want to be able to see when they're doing it and what information they're collecting from it. Well, in any case, we're going to get going here. All right. So starting off, we've got VORGuy on the Octobrush. Double Octobrush, unfortunately. There is a team called Kingmaker that has made a name for themselves on Triple Brush. I don't think it's optimal, but they've gotten some good results on it regardless. In any case, you generally probably don't want to be super close to your teammate. You want to be going around for... The brush is considered a skirmishing weapon. It's one that is trying its best to draw and manipulate enemy aggro, like we talked about a little bit during the league session. So you're going to be getting the opposing team's attention or threatening to flank. One of the 2 things, and they're the same game plan, and what really determines whether you're doing one or the other is whether they're paying attention to you or not. So we roll out onto the right-hand side. Now, one thing to consider here is that you do leave a very noticeable and distinct trail behind you. If someone does check their map before this, they will know there is a brush going in this direction. So Some options that you have include just trying to stealth your way across, going and hoping they don't notice, but being careful so that you don't put yourself around a corner in a, compromising position when they might see you. Or you could also just paint up more around that area before you go in so that you can do so a little bit more stealthily. So they know you're in, like, this general area, but because there's so much paint there, you could be in any of these locations, and they're not sure which one to check. But I like that what you do here is use the cover to start with. You get a little bit of high ground. High ground like this is generally advantageous to a short-range frontline weapon, with the caveat that you do not want to be seen by a longer-ranged weapon while you're doing this. The reason that this is good is that if you're up, being up here gives you more options, but being up here especially gives you even more options, because being at the very top means you can then immediately go in any of the directions you want to. From here, you can go in forward, backwards, and sideways. From down on the side of it, you can only go forward and backwards. You have a lot more options since you can go up over the top of it for where to drop in on, and so you're more threatening that way. And it's also harder for them to aim up at you. So being up here is a good threatening position. It makes it so that this player here, having now realized that you're up where you are, they can't approach this safely without risking just getting sharked by you. So being here is a positional advantage, I would say. Now, what is not a positional advantage is when you drop. Your power here is not necessarily in being able to just take a fight right away. I would say it is in your ability to either punish them for staying in a place that you now control, or take control of it, paint it up, and push them backwards. But committing to this fight right here is probably going to result in a trade, I would think. Yeah. Because as soon as you give up that positional advantage and just dive on them, it's a DPS race. So from here, you can play it a little bit more patiently, and as long as, you don't overcommit, they don't have a way in, and you can kind of pressure them and poke them, and if your teammates come in, they can help, and eventually you'll be able to force them out of here. But this just gives you a 1-for-1, and that's definitely... Ooh, your team probably didn't want to pick up the Rainmaker right now. Let's see, when did they pick it up? Okay, a player goes down there. As soon as, like, your teammate goes down, it is not the time to pick up the Rainmaker yet. I guess maybe what they're trying to do... The most charitable interpretation that I can make of the decision for them to pick it up is that they're trying to just delay the enemy team from being able to pick it up and run it themselves, because they're realizing that everyone's going down around them, and at this point, the enemy team is going to be stalled more by them picking it up and, like, running it to the left or something than they are by this player maybe, like, jumping back. The enemy team probably gets less distance that way. But they ran it to the center, so I don't know. It seems like they were trying to just score, and we're not paying attention to the game state enough to know when to do that. Okay, so we're pushing out here, and we're one of the first ones back. So one of the first things that I want as the frontliner is paint to sharken, because based on the way that Plaid is painted right now, if I try to swim forward at the enemy team, what's going to happen on a good team is they're going to put a frontliner in front of it, so probably the splatter shot. Splatter shot goes up in front of the Rainmaker to try and clear the way and draw aggro, because as soon as somebody sees the splatter shot and starts shooting at it, now that player who's shooting at the splatter shot has revealed themselves to the Rainmaker carrier, and the Rainmaker carrier knows to avoid them. Because a lot of the time what will happen otherwise, if the Rainmaker goes first, is they'll just get sharked, and the very first player they run into on the enemy team immediately splats them with no counterplay. So what you want to be doing is making it so that when that frontliner comes over the top, they don't know where to shoot to protect the Rainmaker from you. If you paint up... Rainmaker's still down on ground level, right? You've got a little bit of time. If you paint up this and as much as you can of this, that probably gives you a space to, go back and forth and actually dodge a Rainmaker shot and still stay in your own ink. and that'll let you approach that frontliner, fight that frontliner, kite that frontliner, whatever you need to do. Well, I guess your brush, you're not exactly kiting them, more just running away from them. But you're able to deal with them better because you had a little bit of time and you took advantage of that time to prepare. Once you actually get into the fight here, though, you're not going to have very much to work with. You can see here you're trying to move forward, but you can't get forward because you don't have any room to maneuver. There's blue paint to the right of you. There's blue paint all the way down here. Getting up here, there's now rain in front of you, and you're just kind of forced back. So you notice, okay, if I get around this way and paint this, I have a space to swim. And if you'd painted that earlier, you would have been able to get over there sooner and had access to a better angle to it. Okay, so it looks like the enemy team is backed up. You get an opportunity to pop. That gives you a lot of paint. That's good. You go forward, and I think you can get this. Unfortunate. Oh, you do eventually get it. Okay. So, let's see here. So from here, I would say you can actually just dive straight on top of them. Because this player is shooting at something else. If this player were, like, stopping shooting and starting to move away from you and, like, looking down, then that would show you, oh, this player knows that I'm coming, and they will be ready to pre-fire me as I come over the top. But they're clearly not aware of that or being very slow to respond. So you could have actually probably just gone straight over the ledge and taken them out. The reason that I recommend that in this situation is that when you drop over the side, now you've lost sight of them and you don't know where to swing. So it takes you a little bit longer. You do hit them on the backside of the wall here, I think, and okay, you eventually catch them. Now, the trick here, though, is that in getting this player, you jump off of the stacks and fall into mid. Being airborne in Splatoon is generally a disadvantaged state because you don't have access to the ink that you've got on the ground to move around in. Swimming is the fastest movement, and it's also the fastest turning radius that you get in the game, the fastest time to go switch directions and go someplace else. So being in the air, you're a much more predictable target. The enemy team knows exactly where you're going to land. Like, an enemy charger is already lining up their shot exactly where you're about to be, and they're going to be able to track that and take you out before you hit the ground. Now, there isn't an enemy charger here, but you get my point. They have a lot of time to respond to you making this move. You're also marked while you're making it, so I expect that you're going to get targeted as soon as you drop, and that's exactly what happens. So that goes back to the thing that I was talking about first when you were on the right stack. When you have a positional advantage up there, you don't necessarily need to hard commit to capitalize on that advantage that you've got. You have the ability in that situation to stay patient and force your opponent out of the position that they want to be in. Because as long as you deny the opponent the ability to stay behind the stacks over there, they have to kind of flush themselves out into the open. Like from right here, this player already has to move somewhere. If they move to the right, they're isolated from their team and you have height advantage, and now that's a great opportunity to drop down and take them out like you try to here. If they move back in this direction, maybe your heavy's looking at them. Maybe you've got a flank in, maybe the tri-slosher is ink jetting or something. Like, this player moving towards the left means that you're forcing them back. It may not seem like you're forcing them back, but think about where the Rainmaker has to go. It has to go left first. So if you force this player back to the left, now if you were to grab the Rainmaker, you would be able to get further towards progress, towards the goal, before the Rainmaker was attacked. That means that you've forced them out of position, you've forced them away. You're doing your job as a frontliner. You're forcing the enemy team back so that your team can take up more space on the map. Going down in mid here does the opposite of that, because even though you do get a trade, what ends up happening is that the rest of your team goes down, and now, since you're removed from play on the map, you're not able to play defense, you're not able to keep them back, keep your position in mid. The team ends up falling back for that. So a lot of the time, I'm not satisfied as a frontliner with getting just a trade, unless I was already in a bad position to begin with. A 1-for-1 trade is not going to change the status quo of the game, and your job is to change the status quo, to break through, to make an inroad into the enemy base for your team, because your weapon is specifically well designed to be getting picks, or to at least be drawing a lot of aggro with the threat of getting picks. You do almost get it there. Like, once you're stuck in mid like that, you honestly play the fight almost as well as you possibly could have, but the problem there is mainly just that you're in a bad position to begin with. Okay. Good job recognizing immediately that the Rainmaker was going by themselves, that they didn't have anything forcing you out of the way. I like that you were hesitant to go for that at first, because you expect when the Rainmaker's pushing up like that there's going to be a frontliner in front of them, but clearly that didn't happen, either because the Rainmaker rushed it or because the frontliner is in the wrong place. So that's just a really easy pick. You've got another brush, unfortunately, already going in the same direction, so there's not much you're going to be able to do here because they're already looking at you. We do have Rainmaker. I was a little worried before, like so you drop down here, and yes, you've got your Tri-Slosher in position to defend. I don't know from the where did we see your heavy yet? Looks like that's just the Tri-Slosher. Yeah. So all we know is in position to defend right now is your Tri-Slosher. We know that your other brush is on the left, and the heavy, I believe, is still respawning. In theory, if someone on the other team were to just sneak up the ramp and, like, get a pick in a 1v1 against the Tri-Slosher, they'd be able to grab it, and you're already behind the push. So you're not in between the Rainmaker and the goal, and they could potentially score some more. So dropping here is really risky. You only want one person to be making a flank like this at a time, because, for one thing, when you go exactly the same direction, it's not a flank anymore. They're looking in the same position. They just keep shooting there. So it's a lot easier to stop you. For another thing, there's nobody defending if the Tri-Slosher goes down. And I don't want to just, like, trust my random teammates to recognize that and make the right play. I was especially scared as soon as I heard the Rainmaker pop, because I couldn't see what color it was popping. And I really want to make sure that that's going to go in our favor and not get picked up by the enemy team. At this point, it would be the Rapid or the Explo that would be picking it up, so it's not an especially likely success story there, but that is something to be worried about. I really like all of your Zipcasters in this match in general. This one right here, what you're doing is you're thinking ahead. You're predicting the opponent's movements. They're looking over to the far left where the Rainmaker goal is that your team is pushing. And so you know they're not going to be paying as much attention to the front of them because, I mean, you're the only weapon in the game that is going to be able to go that way anyway, and only when you have special. So it's very rare that they're going to have to worry about that. And you end up getting up over the top, getting a really good pick. And then I also like the way that you keep yourself safe during the Zipcaster. Zipcaster's biggest problem, in my opinion, is that it's very vulnerable. It's bright colored. It telegraphs where it's about to land. It doesn't do very long-range damage, at least not a lot of like lethal long-range damage that forces someone out of the way necessarily. Like, in order to get picks with it, you have to get in at off angles. You have to get in when they're not looking at you and all of a sudden be there in a place they didn't expect. And then when you get that pick, instead of just like greeting for more, you immediately drop down behind cover and keep yourself safe. And that's awesome. Those are all good things. That's a lot of the fundamentals that like you teach people for inkjets. So you pick it up here and decide to take it over here because you see the opportunity to take lead. This path on the left is, in literally every other situation, I would tell you that this path on the left is really, really bad. This situation, I think, is the one justifiable time to actually take it this way because you're never going to get as far, as fast going to the left. It's not faster. It's also usually isolating you from your team as soon as you walk around this corner. And there's still a whole bunch of enemy high ground, and it takes you much closer to the enemy spawn, so they have less time to get back down here and defend it after they get splatted. There are a lot of problems with going left, but if you had gone right, there were already people looking at that, and you probably wouldn't have made it as far as you did here. And making it just a little bit further ends up giving you lead, which can be worth it. So this isn't necessarily like of all the times to come this way, this is definitely the best one. Let's see, what's the number situation? So there is an argument to be made that it would have been better to try and play it patient and try and get an even better push. Like what you could do is walk up to this wall here until you get like a lead, but then start peeking around the right hand side. And maybe then if, someone comes over this way to defend you, you can drop to the right and hug this wall and get some more distance towards the goal. Maybe if they stay here defending, you can get some right side peek shots around the cover here. But going out in the open past this piece of cover is extremely unlikely to result in something successful. And the only times that you ever see it being successful, you would have gotten points faster going to the right anyway. So going up here past this wall, I would say literally never do it unless you get a team wipe right on this spot. Otherwise, just go the right side every single time. Because this is exactly what happens when you peek out from behind that cover. Your teammates are all forced out to the right side of you. Nobody's gotten out in front of you yet. You're looking dead at the enemy spawn, and there are two people ready to defend that. But to your credit, you do have lead. Now, at this point in time, you're already one down. You see two people, and I'm looking when I watch the map at these two players' movement. There's blue ink on two sides of them. There's uninkable turf behind them. And they're moving around, indicating that they're in combat. Whenever someone's in combat or, like, moving so that they can't be shot as easily, the amount of time that you give the opponents to move in on your jump, if you jump to them, is so high that they may well have forced your teammate all the way back to, like, here by the time you're landing here. So these are not safe jumps at all. What you probably want to be doing is just running out to the left and maybe painting this for Zipcaster or something, and seeing if your teammates are able to, survive this, if they're able to, like, back up, keep themselves safe, make the right play, and not stay in a 2v4. Because if they go down here, then you engaging is going to cause you to go down and stagger. If they don't go down here, then you being in play by the time they're back here, that lets you have, at least 3 players making a defensive perimeter around here, and you can kind of keep the Rainmaker bottled up while you wait for your 4th. They do get one, but then one gets traded back. You drop here, and that's just immediate death. And so now the team is staggered, and now this is concerning. Because there's only one player now in between the Rainmaker and the goal. One player gets there now. So they're able to set up a defensive perimeter, and they're actually able to go in and get it. I would say this is an error on the other team's part, letting this happen. There was only one player pushing the Rainmaker there across a sea of blue ink. Like, I don't think that should have been possible for them if the other team sets up a better defense for them. What I was worried was going to happen here, and what probably, again, should be happening, you've got a heavy here, and then you've got a brush that is outside of the heavy's sight line. I think it's a brush over here. And what in theory happens here if the brush does what it does is the enemy team collapses on this brush, who's completely isolated. The only help they have is from this heavy, which is a very limited sight line that it controls. So as long as they're able to keep the brush out of the heavy's sight line, they're totally fine, and they can take this fight all day. They delete your brush, and now it's just you in between the Rainmaker and the goal with support from the Heavy, who's about to be out of charge. And we're just kind of staggering in and going down one at a time. So we need to stabilize a little bit here. We need to like not go in immediately and make sure that there is still someone in between Rainmaker and goal. Get some bombs out there, paint up a bit, and get some space back. I'm surprised the Rapid doesn't kill you there. They definitely could have, I think, if they just swam forward a little bit before the third shot. But going in here, I'm anticipating that you go down to this, because the player on the rail can drop off the rail and attack you. The Rainmaker can kite back for a little while and get into this corner and fire some charge shots that force you to move somewhere. And if there's anybody on the left pinching in, you go down very quickly. You do manage to trade. And I think that is better than I expected was going to be able to happen based on the situation you were in. I think there you want to be, instead of diving them, because you have so many players down and you've been staggering so badly as a team, throw bombs in front of the Rainmaker to prevent it from going where it wants to go, and otherwise keep yourself safe and just paint. Try to avoid getting engaged on in those positions, because you going down makes it very easy for the enemy team to just snowball ahead and get the 51 push that they need. It's not very far. They only have to get it to about here. And so as soon as like you go down and the Heavy is pushed back, like if that happens, they're able to get this lead very quickly.
And I have a quick question. So right now for my gear, is it like it's set for the Octobrush?
I don't think the brush runs a ton of ink efficiency. So let me give one caveat really quickly. I do not consider myself an expert on gear builds, and I also don't think that they're especially important, honestly. I think they're really, really overemphasized. Like, some people will look at their build and go, oh, wow, I lost that game because I don't have as good of gear as the other guys do. And that's just not the case. Like, I could try and sabotage, a top player as much as I want with the gear build. I don't think that is ever going to result in me actually beating them and that making the difference between me doing better. I think your mechanics, your decision making, and your team coordination are far, far more important than that is. But this is a website called sendu.inc/builds. Sendu, Sendou, is the name of a top player from Europe. And he is an absolute gem for the community. No pun intended. Phenomenal resource. He uses his, skill in web development to create these kinds of things for the community. Also has a Discord server with... there are a lot of things that he does for the Splatoon community in general. And this is a really, really useful one. All of these builds are from Splatoon 2. This has not been updated for Splatoon 3. I don't know even whether it will be, but that doesn't really make a huge difference because the Octobrush is still the Octobrush. And so you can go in and take a look and see what top 500 players, that's what this crown icon right here means. You can go and look at what top 500 players were running on the Octobrush in Splatoon 2. That was a lovely message we got there. And so you can look at the Octobrush Nouveau and see how the different kit changes how the weapon plays. So, like, I know Red Shell, for example. Red Shell's a strong player who mains brushes specifically. So, good player to look at there. And let's look at the Kensa Octobrush just to get some extra data here. So I'm seeing a lot of comeback, I'm seeing a lot of swim speed, I'm seeing a lot of ninja squid, stealth jump. So like that gives you some good ideas for what people used to run so that in Splatoon 3 you can kind of adapt those ideas. I don't think that you need intensify action on it, so it can largely resemble what it was running previously. I will say just about every weapon in the game is running Ninja Squid right now. Ninja Squid only reduces your swim speed by 90% now instead of 80%. And I think there might be other reasons too. It seems like it might be a little bit more difficult to detect than it was in Splatoon 2. The ink is a little bit less glossy or something like that, so you can't see the trails as easily. Chara's got a video out about it that I've been meaning to watch, and because I've been hearing a lot of people say, like, Ninja Squid is just... everyone's running it except the E-leaders right now. So that's something to think about. And Drop Roller... I think it makes the most sense to run Drop Roller on something like the Octobrush, where you've got the Zipcaster landing that you're going to have to roll away from. There were some Inkjet weapons in Splatoon 2, for example, that would run Drop Roller for that reason. Usually, for most weapons, Stealth Jump is the call, because what someone's going to do to camp your jump a lot of the time is just put a lethal bomb on top of it. And when that happens... Drop Roller doesn't save you because you don't hit the ground before you go down. What does save you in the case where you're super jumping in is if they don't even know that you're there in the first place. I don't know if that impacts Zipcaster. I haven't actually tested that. But it's a way that you can at least super jump into play and not be seen. Because... The higher level you go, the more you expect that if you have your jump in an exposed location, it's just going to go down right away. They're not going to mess up the execution badly enough that a Drop Roller is going to save you. So that's my take on it. I don't think you need quite as much of the ink efficiency stuff. I think you can focus more on being able to go fast, being able to spawn in fast, or come back is a really good choice. It buffs you up for when you do get splatted because you're expecting to go in and get splatted more often than the typical weapon. Okay. So let's get back to the review. If you does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. So let's keep this going. And I do apologize, I haven't been reading a lot of questions from chat or anything. I will try and catch up on that in between the VOD reviews here. Woomy! Many woomies. Oh, let me back up for just a second, because I also like this Zipcaster. And I want to point out what I like about it here that I'm not seeing a lot of other Zipcaster players do. You are using Zipcaster to get an off angle on them. And that's really good. What a lot of Zipcasters will do wrong is they'll run straight at the enemy team. And now you're not forcing them to shoot at anything that they weren't already shooting at. They see you coming. They can look in one direction and see everything that your team is doing. But now you're behind them. And that's a problem for them. Because they need to, like, turn and look at you, but if they do that, they get shot in the back by your teammates. And if they look at their teammates, now they have to worry about you. So you're forcing them to essentially back up if they want to stay safe from this. And you force this player up out of this strong defensive position, and then right as soon as you're starting to get into danger, it pops you back out of it. Now, unfortunately, there didn't look like there was anybody following up to help you with the Explo there, and that didn't end up leading to anything. But I consider it a win that you displaced that backline weapon and got out without dying, and you're already back in position to help defend. Like, I think that with more follow-up, especially in a team coordination setting where you're going to be able to call out that that Explo is about to be displaced, like, the heavy can be looking at that from mid and just zero that guy out because now they have no cover. So that's a really cool play there, I think. And more people need to be like taking off angles with the Zipcaster instead of just diving straight forward onto people with it. Nice. See, that fight right there, that shows you kind of how you could have won that fight earlier on in the match. I think it's not this player that ends up actually splatting you. Yeah, it's the blaster from below. So this fight you happen to lose because you're engaging when there are more enemy players up. But mechanically speaking, and in terms of positioning, you go back to that first fight that we were talking about, how you dropped off the ledge when you probably could have just gone straight for it. This fight right here is exactly how to play that. They didn't know that you were there in time. They didn't have their aim on. You could tell that from their body language. You just go in, get smack, 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 and they're down before they have the chance to get their aim on. And one big thing to pay attention to is that right now, you know, as you're just kind of sitting here sharking, this is a beautiful time to check the game state in terms of like what's going on the upper side of the screen. So I'm checking two things. First of all, if I can't remember who's in the lead, now is the time that I'm checking that. Number two, I'm checking to see what kind of numbers advantage we have. We're down one player right now. If they push in, even if I think I have an advantageous fight against that player, what's going to happen is if I engage on that fight and that player responds smartly, they stall that fight out long enough that one of their teammates is very likely to be able to join and at best trade you back. And again, we don't want trades. We want to actually be shifting the advantage in our favor. So, and we especially don't want trades right now, because what trades do is trades maintain the status quo. They keep the teams in the advantage state that they are currently in. Well, right now, your team is at a disadvantage. And so if you trade, they stay at a disadvantage, and they stay at a disadvantage for longer because you're still down. So you don't really want those kinds of situations, especially out of neutral, when you could just like back up, you know, throw bombs if they're getting too close to you, and wait until your teammates are alive to make a more successful push. They've also already popped a special here, which is kind of a win for you guys, because now they don't have a special for whatever happens next. That special didn't really accomplish much. It kind of popped the Rainmaker, I guess, but look at how much orange paint you still have here for it. Unfortunately, your teammate also goes in and gets splatted here. So now, this player who was down is still spawning, and will take another maybe 4 or 5 seconds to be in a position where they can help you. And this teammate is down. It is just you and your heavy, and the heavy is going to be further back and is not going to be able to follow you into this. So if you dive right now, it's just you against the entire enemy team. And that's why you get traded back here. And that's why you don't want to be fighting at numbers disadvantage. It's because as soon as this fight breaks out, you're probably not going to have paint advantage, so they're going to know where you are. Someone's going to be able to get to you quickly and trade you back. Alright, so you see that there's a fight developing on the left. You move in and cut these players off on the right from joining it, but because you're out in the open so much, that's just going to lead to you getting traded back. I see there are two players here. The path you take to get to them is actually pretty wide. If I'm going to engage on this, I want to close distance faster than this, especially since this is an X-Blow, and they win if they can kite me. They have longer range, so the way that you beat them is by getting in range at the same time. So if you're going to engage this, you want to actually be running straight at the X-Blow right now, instead of like swinging around like this, because now the X-Blow has gotten away, and they're able to hit you from outside of your weapon's range. And that is, I think, what ends up picking you. No, it's the other player who's over there. Okay. There's just like a massive numbers disadvantage that you're diving into here. That's part of the issue. But if you are going to engage that, it needs to be more direct and give them less warning. Okay. So we've actually picked the Rainmaker up, and we've gotten 2 picks out of that position, which is not what you'd expect necessarily. And then the Rainmaker goes and runs ahead of everybody and dies immediately because it has no one to protect it. This is a really risky position, and if this were any weapon other than a brush, I would say that you're probably going to go down. You might be able to make it out of this alive. Just seeing... So, like, you are dropping on enemy ink. Everything in front of you is, like, so blue. You also can't go to the right. So they know that if you, like, backed up and didn't paint over there, they know exactly where you are because of having so much paint control. But what you can do is you can paint your feet as you run away. And so because of that, you're going to be able to get through blue ink and potentially escape in positions where other weapons wouldn't. And since you can just drop off of this and put like a wall in between you and them, this might be safe, and it might be good because you're threatening to pick up the Rainmaker and ensure that they focus on you instead of like being able to take any position back in mid, and maybe that helps your team get in. Been getting some questions from chats that are want to just really quickly address. One question is, what rank is this gameplay? I'll put a caveat on that I don't think rank actually matters that much right now, because it's more a measure of how long you've played than it is what skill level of players you beat. It's the Glicko score right now, the power level, that is actually a good measure of what level players you can beat. That's being used for matchmaking, but it's being used to grab people even from outside of your own rank to match you with. So it's really just kind of giving you matches with people that you're good against. They're like good for you to be playing against, but it's not necessarily going to reflect how good you are in the letter rank. But all of that being said, what rank are you at? Because I don't know.
Right now I'm at S rank.
Okay. Thoughts on meta gear? I have said almost as much as I have to say about the gear. Again, sendu.inc/builds to see what the previous weapons used. Ninja Squid is being run on everything right now. Intensify action is mandatory on certain weapons like blasters because their jump RNG being reduced is such a big deal for those weapons. But don't run it on perfect accuracy weapons like a Splashmatic or a Charger or something. That's an absolute waste. New users asking what this channel is. I think there's some good summaries around, the Twitch About section and stuff that you could be checking out. But this is an educational resource for people getting into Splatoon, especially trying to get into more competitive level Splatoon. And this is a VOD review where I am looking at a video from this player here and breaking down their decisions and everything. Sensitivity is +5/+5, but anything that lets you do a 180 is fine. It's not a very big deal. And how to get a VOD review, I will talk about, but that is through Discord DMs. Okay. I do like, as soon as you drop down, you got brushed down, you know that this is not safe to stay in. You know, I have put paint in front of me. You know that somebody is looking at you now. And that means that, excuse me. You know someone's looking at you. And so you know that you have a couple seconds before someone is shooting at you. And so you're already preemptively prepared for that. You're moving out of the way, you're getting back to safety before they're able to pose a threat to you. And what you've done by doing that is this player looking at you could have been looking out in mid, could have been painting into mid, could have been putting pressure on your team and forcing them back. Instead, they're still on turf that they already control. You've wasted some of their time, and they pick up the Rainmaker for some reason. That's an interesting choice. I guess they wanted control of it so that they didn't run out of time, but I don't know. They do manage to get control here. What happens? So they kind of picked that up a little preemptively, because I don't think they had any way of knowing the Tri-Slosher was about to go down and that they were going to have even an even numbers situation. But then your other brush player does end up going down, and now this is actually scary, because this is a 4v2. It is once again just you and your heavy alive. And at this point, enough people know where you are that you can't probably stay in the same place. At this point, my thought would be, first, can I jump to the heavy? Because if the heavy is back up on your plat, they're probably not getting pushed yet, and you can kind of stay in play while backing up faster by just jumping straight to them instead of jumping to spawn. Otherwise, your thought is jump back to spawn. Because you're cut off from being able to defend on the right over here. If the Rainmaker just comes through on the right-hand side and goes around right stack, there's no way that you get in, and you're cut off from being able to defend. So you need to do something drastic to reposition so that you can actually stop this. And coming out from behind cover here, you don't have anywhere to hide at this point, and there's a lot of blue ink. And this player has already been shooting you and is almost in range. So you should expect that this player is going to be able to hit you now, which is what happens. Actually, that was the splatter shot, so it wasn't even the same player, but same difference. I expect they get lead there, and the fact that they didn't is attributable primarily to the fact that they went over here. Again, this is not the move. You get points much, much faster. You probably only have to get to about here if you go this way, instead of going all the way up and coming all the way around to get here and not get lead. So I think in a competitive environment, they 100% get lead off of that push because they pick the correct direction to go, get there faster, and from there they don't have to go as far. And there's still the fact that your teammate traded is kind of a really clutch miracle play sort of thing, because that should have been like a 1v3 1v2 some sort of situation like that they were in, against frontline weapons that are ready to push them. So good stop on their part. And then they just kind of sit right there and do not stop you from moving in. What this player needs to notice is the fact that you're beelining them right now. They do not. You see that? 2 players down. Now, there is still an X-Blow. Do we know where the X-Blow is? Do we have any information to suggest where they might be?
I didn't see any while I was doing this.
And that's the problem. We don't know where the X-Blow is. It is entirely possible they are right behind this box or something. That's not likely where they are, but we turn our backs on the Rainmaker here. Okay, they do finally go down there. But I'm worried until they go down. Is there someone who's going to pick up the Rainmaker? Because they just need one line painted in the ink and to grab this and to swim to be able to get lead in the last 14 seconds. So I'm a little bit nervy about that. At this point, we've only got 12 seconds left. And so let's talk a little bit about the way Rainmaker overtime works. I did a TikTok about this, so some of you might already be familiar with it. But the last 15 seconds changes what you want to be doing with the Rainmaker. Because in the last 15 seconds, if the winning team picks up the Rainmaker and is splatted during... if they are splatted during the last 15 seconds of the game, the losing team is guaranteed overtime. They're going to get it for sure. So a safer play to deny them that overtime, because what's going to happen in that situation is not only does the other team get an overtime, but you're one player down if that happens. So that is actually a way that the losing team can often make a comeback. What you want to do instead is you still want to prevent them from being able to pick it up, but the best way to do that is by keeping it in shield. Now, it got popped earlier, and you know that the other team is wiped. Can they get back to this point in 12 seconds? Probably not. So what you can do is leave it here to reset. I don't remember exactly how long it takes to reset, but what could easily happen in this situation, if you don't pick it up, is they can't get to it in time to pick it up. It resets back to mid, and now in mid it has a shield around it. And all you need to do is keep that shield from popping. You don't even need to pop it yourself, pick it up, anything like that. if you just keep the shield your color, so like most of the way to popping, but not quite there, the other team has the hardest time possible even getting to pick the Rainmaker up. And this way, you get to maintain control of your weapons, so you can be zoning them out with bombs. You can be using those bombs on the Rainmaker shield. You have your whole team up so they can take control of mid, so it's hard for them to even get to the shield. That's a stronger defensive position than someone on your team having the Rainmaker in the last 15 seconds and potentially risking some kind of like miracle bomb taking you out and accidentally giving the other team an overtime.
Never like, what I do in situations like these normally when we have the lead and the Rainmakers at our bases that I grab and just go back.
And I think that is a weaker decision for a couple of reasons. For one thing, if you take it back and somebody just hits you with a Trizuka, because there was a splatter shot on the other team, or like the Explo finds an angle that you didn't know they had on you, or the Rapid has longer range than you think it does, then you lose the Rainmaker and your team is now at a numbers disadvantage, and it's way, way closer to them being able to get lead. If you're going to pick the Rainmaker up and take it somewhere, you want to actually take it to the left side of the map. Let me open up Sendu's map thing really quick. So we're going to go Inkblot, Rainmaker, top down. This is the Splatoon 2 version, but it's basically the same. Just doesn't have the rail over here. Got a few slight differences. So if you die right here, they have to get to here to get lead. If you die right here, though, they have to go all the way over here to get lead. So if you take it over to here, even if you're more likely to get splatted, that still gives your team way longer to defend than if you were to just bring it back here and potentially risk them coming in. Now, I think the timing does work out that they are not going to be able to reach you in this particular game, but I wouldn't ever want to count on that. One big advantage from here is that you can see in a very narrow cone anyone who could potentially be coming after you. They have to walk through your field of vision here somewhere in order for you to know, like, in order for them to get close to you. And they're going to have to do that pretty fast if they want to, stop the game in time. So if you just put shots out in like this direction, it's very easy to cover any potential entryway that they have towards you. So if you're going to pick it up, I'd say beeline over here. But let's go through the example of what happens if you don't pick it up. So you leave it here, you push forward, and you paint up a little bit, get some control of mid. The rest of your team is able to get positions like maybe here, I don't know. Like, they're able to move forward a little bit, and then maybe you got the heavy right here. So now you might even have enough time to lock the opponents out from ever getting to the shield, let alone popping it. But even if all that you're able to do is get on this side while the other team is on this side, if you just keep the shield from popping by painting it, you win the game. And that's relatively safe and easy to do. You can just kind of sit behind cover, sit behind blocks, throw a bomb at the shield every now and then when you need to. You can, do what we were talking about earlier and take a position right here so that this player can't be here and has to back up, and we know where these players are. They have no flanks on us. It's very easy to just play lame from right here and stop them from having a chance to get back into the game at all. But as soon as you pick it up, Trizuka comes in, farms a Zuka, the splatter shot farms a Trizuka, hits this shot or something, and now you're in a lot of trouble. Or maybe they get up here and they fire it up in this direction or something like that. Like, they have the range to do something like that, and if they do have enough time to get back, that does become a problem. Like, I could see the splatter shot maybe dropping down here, doing something like this, and being able to make that play. So it's rare that will happen, and in this situation, I think you did correctly read that you were almost certain to win if you just, grabbed it and held it back there. but I would never take that risk. I would never risk misjudging that, because it's so much safer anyway to just let it be in the bubble.
Okay.
All right, so that brings us to the end of that. Do you have any questions for me?
I just want to get like a better understanding of how to use a zipcaster.
I think you were doing a really good job of it. I think like what you're doing is safe, and that's the primary most important thing. Like any pressure that you apply doesn't matter if you just get picked for doing it. You need to be able to like get in, do something impactful, and then safely get out for the team not to lose value for you doing it. And that's exactly what you're doing. The first time you did it, you got a pick on someone who is over-focused on the Rainmaker. That was phenomenal. The second time you did it, you displaced the backline weapons so they could not be defending during that time. And if one of your teammates had looked up and seen that happening, they would have been able to get a pretty easy pick on that backliner. Both of those are mission accomplished in my book. So you're using it from safe positions too. You're using it in places where they're not going to be able to push to try and camp your jump. That's another huge thing. That's something that, again, carries over from using Inkjet in Splatoon 2. I don't really have anything to complain about with what I saw in your Zipcasters.
And my final question is, I just want to know again, like, how to, like, what's my job as a brush?
So let's go onto that map real quick. So I like to refer to a concept that I call the objective line. I'll draw the objective line here for a second. On this map, the objective line looks about like this. This describes the path that the objective carrier has to follow in order to get from wherever the Rainmaker is to the opposing side's goal, to the KO. So the flow of the game is largely dictated by this path. If the Rainmaker happens to be right here, then, and let's say you're on green team. If the Rainmaker is right here, your job as the frontline weapon is to take this point and push it further on the line to make it possible for it to move forward. So right now, if the Rainmaker is safely here, then you control like this space around it and probably like this up here and some of this. So you've probably got maybe like this under control. If the Rainmaker wants to move further up to maybe this point, now you need to take this arc and move it further forward. So what does this arc mean? This arc means if anybody enters this radius and gets close to the Rainmaker, they're immediately getting shot at and they are prevented from doing anything about the Rainmaker. So that means that players like you are maybe taking positions like this and sharking so that as soon as someone drops into this space, they're getting taken out. Or that means that maybe you are up over here and doing things over here so that players can never advance and get into this space. You're just always in a position a little bit in front of where the team currently wants to be to make it safe for everybody else to walk forward. And so to now talk like you're on defense, let's say they're down here. Well, your job is still to push this point further back on the objective line, to push it this way. And the way that you're going to do that is by denying the opponent the ability to advance into this space. So your job is to make it not safe for the Rainmaker to push towards your goal any further. And so that means that you're enforcing a zone maybe here, maybe enforcing a zone here. And you can see from this drawing why it's a little bit risky to drop down and go this way. Because from this position, you're not actually stopping the Rainmaker from pushing into this zone. It could just move up this way if the rest of your team isn't enforcing a zone around you and leave you behind. and now you're not defending. You're not pushing the Rainmaker further back on the objective line. So that's the way that I think about the mode. It's a very similar concept in tower control. It gets a little bit more complex with Clam Blitz because there are multiple ways in. It's even a little bit more complicated on other maps because there are other routes. Because in theory, you know, there's an objective line that goes this way on this map. It's just one that you should almost never use, so I just picture it this way. But on a map like Splatoon 2 Moray Towers, man, there are lines going everywhere. And then Splat Zones works a little bit differently. In Splat Zones, there is an area that you have to control. Rather than, you know, pushing forward on a line, it's more like you get control of about this much space right here, and then you're trying to basically enforce the zone of control to prevent them from getting to this circle. So it kind of looks like this, and then theoretically up to this. And that's kind of how you expand out. But you notice the arcs are much wider because it's so easy to like slip in around this because it's such a huge zone and there are so many ways to approach it. So those are kind of like my ways of visualizing what a frontliner does on any given map.
Well, thank you. Absolutely.
And thank you for being willing to put your footage on screen and be criticized in front of a bunch of people. that does take some bravery, and I do always appreciate people who are willing to do it. So thank you very much, and now we are going to move on to Taekwon Bird. Hi, Taekwon Bird.
Hey, I'm still here.
Welcome, welcome. So let's get started with this. Capture card. Love it when people have a capture card.
Yes.
All right.
All these a little shaky at the beginning. I don't know why it's like that, but then it evens out.
Yeah. It's, I think, a little bit more difficult sometimes when the game is, or when the recording device is like shifting from relatively stationary things with very little changing to all of a sudden the whole screen is shifting drastically. I think that actually increases like the processing strain on it, but all right. So we're running. What rank is this? Just because we're gonna get that question in the chat.
I'm pretty sure this is A-.
A-. Okay. Oh, and I said I was gonna read some questions. Let me just really quickly scroll up for just a second. I think we should be good here for at least the last 10 minutes or something. Okay, I'm not seeing, and I'm scrolling very quickly, so apologies if I did skim over something that you wrote there, but I think since I last checked in, we should be in decent shape. Okay. So, we are on Mahi Mahi Tower Control, which is gross. I really strongly dislike the way that they've designed the map for Splatoon 3. It was a lot better in Splatoon 1 with the way that the spawn worked, and there was just a lot more space, but especially with the water up, there are a lot of problems on this map. It's just way too tight. A single E-liter camped out right here, just, there's nothing you can do about it except throw specials at it. It's really, really frustrating to try and get anything done here as a frontliner. So one of the reasons that your weapon, the sloshing machine, is the best in the game right now is that in a position like this where it's really hard to push forward, you can at least make it really difficult for the other team to push forward too. There are a lot of really, really bad choke points in this game, like places where you just have to walk through the skinniest, tiniest, most predictable corridor to be able to get anywhere. And you can clog all of those up with fizzy bombs that combo into a one-shot from your main weapon. It's glorious. And that's exactly what you're doing here. You're coming over to the left-hand side and saying, hey, if you want to go through here, don't.
Get through this, yeah.
And you have one of the only pieces of cover to work from here, so this is, I think, a solid position. Oh. Spacebar,
Yeah,
work with me here. There we go.
I never played Splatoon 1. I didn't own a Wii U back then. But I do enjoy Mahi Mahi Resort Tower Control more than Camp Triggerfish. So, but that's just me.
Gotcha.
I hated Camp Triggerfish for Tower.
I think that I actually liked Triggerfish Tower a bit, and that I'm going to get crucified for that by the competitive players because it was just Stingray City. But if you take Stingray out of the game, I think it's actually a lot of fun because you have a lot of interesting ways to access the tower. But I can also understand that it can be frustrating when you fall into water if you mess up.
Yeah.
That's not actually why I dislike the map here either. What I dislike about it is how cramped, especially mid is, how difficult it is to push in and gain an advantage so that you can do anything. Because otherwise it just kind of stalls out and pushing seems very heavily punished.
Yeah, and then once you get a pick, it's just like, okay, time to go in.
All right. So you've got an enemy machine on the other side here. You are in a relatively exposed position here. If there were an E-leader, I would be wincing because I'd be like, you're going to die, but there is not. And so you are probably okay unless the Rapid Blaster happens to be in range. Now what does happen, though, is you get a bomb thrown behind you. And you're about to go and aggress this player. So you see that there's someone there, and your first thought is, I want to go and engage that player because they've now revealed their position and they have nowhere to run. But then you realize, wait a minute. The process of doing that involves painting my feet on this side. If I drop here, they might be able to engage on me, so I don't want to fall on this. So you commit to falling off the block on the left, on like the back side, and then you realize, wait, they just threw a bomb there. So you've quickly run out of options. This bomb right now is the only thing that's like directly threatening you. So what you should be doing for now, since there's a bomb behind you, is just as long as you can keep this player at bay, and you're going to be better at doing that right now because you have height over them. So you actually outrange them by the time. Oh wait, this isn't a machine. Why am I saying that's machine? That's like a splat bomb. So that's dually squelchers. Okay, so you actually probably don't quite have range. I don't know. You're pretty close to having range. If they get just the tiniest bit too close, they get hit. But they even back up. So the bomb is the only thing you have to worry about, is my point here. And so what you should probably do is play just a little bit more patiently and like knowing that you don't have a route to get towards this player without at least probably 2 sloshes, because you'll throw one out there to paint your feet and to try and get this stuff, but then they'll start painting it and then you'll have to shoot another one before you get in. It's going to take you a process to go after this player. And they're also one of the best kiting weapons in the entire game. They're going to be able to roll backwards for as much distance as they have and jump tech you, and they have longer range. So you going in on this player is not the play right now, which is the problem with this map, that going in is never the play. So you committing to an aggressive play here ends up putting you in a spot that you're not prepared to move away from the bomb. And that happens.
Yep.
I like that you second-guessed yourself about jumping to that player. That's good awareness. You're seeing that rest of the map is blue. They're the only one there. Someone just died there. Let's not. Yeah, very good. And this jump is fine because you're ending up still on high ground, and you see that nobody is painting on this left-hand side. I would be a little worried that maybe there's someone sharking this if there were like a vanilla blaster or something like that, or a ranged blaster. Like this I might actually be afraid of, but the tower is going to the right. They're more likely to pay attention to what's going on the right-hand side. And the right-hand side is probably where you and your weapon want to be more of the time. You've got a roller who's going to want to flank. So if you're flanking right now, the roller is going to have to go in from like the front. You're better equipped to defend from the front than they are because you have fizzy bombs, you have longer range, a bigger hitbox. You're going to have Booyah Bomb once you get that charged. Like, you have the ability to just withstand a full frontal assault as long as you keep hitboxes out there. The roller kind of needs to sneak up on them. And so if anyone on the team should be making the play on the left, it should be them. And this goes back to the same concept that I was talking about. And unfortunately, I don't have a map that's the same shape, but let's see. The tower goes like this, and up into their base. And then we'll mirror that on the other side. So this is, just imagine this is Mahi behind it instead of Inkblot. So right now, you're dropping out on this side as the tower moves this way. So just like we were talking about before, the risk of this play is that you're not in between the tower and where it's trying to push. If they just get in and push your teammates out in this direction, yes, you'll eventually get behind the tower, but by the time you do, they'll have a lot of control of all of this, and probably will have paint control. And the tower rider should, in theory, see you coming at that point. If the roller gets in here and is able to maybe stealth their way in, they have some tools at close range to be able to handle someone quickly if they get jumped on like that. But you are better served being up in a position like this and throwing fizzy bombs in this direction and trying to establish this kind of zone so that the tower can't push through.
All right.
So you do end up getting in and picking someone off the side here. I was a little bit concerned about what was going on to the left. Because, like, the Rapid Blaster's right here. So they're in range to hit you across the way. You have your back to them, and they see that you're attacking the Tower Rider. So, in theory, they could have shot you in the back there. Now, your teammate might have been able to trade back if that happened, but I would definitely, like, get that pick and try to keep moving over to the right to get away from that Rapid Blaster. Generally, you don't want more than one player on the tower most of the time. Some possible exceptions include, like, you've got a backliner who's on tower who's going to continue riding it, and then you've got someone who's about to pop Big Bubbler as soon as it gets contested and then, like, push up with the rest of their front line. That might be a thing. But having two players on tower and having the enemy team know there are two players on tower means that nobody is enforcing the zone in front of the tower. So let me get rid of some of these scribbles. So let's say that tower is here. If we have 3 people on tower right now, there's only at most one person who could be trying to enforce a zone in front of it. And right now we happen to know that, like, there are 2 players, like, behind us. Nobody has pushed forward. So from here, if we're both riding the tower, the first defender who decides they want to stop the tower is going to have direct access to it. They're going to be able to walk right up to it and stop it. So what we want to happen right now is for someone else, at least one other player, preferably 2, to get out in front to create this zone so that it's safe for one person to be riding the tower and they're never going to get contested as the tower moves forward. Otherwise, you expect that you're going to lose a player, because if you're on tower by yourself and someone comes in and tries to attack that, you're at a disadvantage in that fight. They know where you are because they know you're on the tower. It shows them at the very top of their screen, oh, this is orange. That means that somewhere in this tiny little patch of ink, there is an enemy player. And you only have so far you can go while you're still on the tower. So from here, you probably want one of the 2 of you to get off. And you do, in fact, end up doing that, which is good. And that's a really good pick. You are a little bit lucky that the player up here does not focus you during this time. That player has free shots on you here that you have no cover from them. And they could definitely just be taking you out at this point. But they focus on something that they're not hitting, and you get away with it. So what could we have done instead that would have been a little bit safer? My suggestion would have been dropping off to the right here and challenging this player at their range there. Because I think you have a better kill time than them. Especially dropping down from here. Now, like, just think for a second. What is the soonest, like, what is the shortest distance you could travel that gets you behind cover right now? if you back up at all, this guy still has shots on you the whole way, and you'd have to like maybe get up this ramp, hop up over here, and drop down behind this corner. The fastest way is probably to get over to like all the way over here, and I don't think you really have all that much on the left. You could also maybe swim behind this here, but like you have so far that you have to go before you have any cover from this player. And they've already gotten a shot on you, so you have a disadvantage in this fight if they decide to take it and hit their shots. So this is more on this player for missing all of these shots than it is on you for getting away. And this player is just massively out of position. They kind of get overkilled there. Like, I think the ink fact was a little excessive with the position that they were in. And this is the same position I was just talking about. Right now, you want someone off the tower pushing up in front of the tower. Yes, you're safe in the big bubbler, but the big bubbler isn't going to last forever. And if what's probably going to happen here is the big bubbler shreds right as you get through the checkpoint and right as you get up over the top. So maybe stay on for the checkpoint to go faster, but as soon as that's done, you need some kind of pressure out in front. And so I'd maybe like throw a fizzy bomb and then jump up over the top and try and push forward. As everyone's standing on the tower like this, as soon as like one player starts shooting one side or puts a bomb on one side, now everyone is forced to the same side, and it only takes one enemy player to get a team wipe. Like having 4 players on the tower can be successfully defended by 2 defenders. You need to have someone in front that's pushing those players away so they don't even have access to the tower in the first place in order for this to stay safe. The Booyah Bomb here is a good idea, but too late. This needed to be thrown probably right as the tower was going up over the ledge so that you could gain enough space to, again, get in front of the tower and secure that zone so that you can keep them from ever landing shots on the tower in the first place. And that's how you get this push through the 3rd checkpoint here. So at this point, we're down on... we've got like someone shooting at us on the left-hand side. We've gone 1 for 1. We're not paying attention to this player on the left. We're kind of just counting on our teammate to win that on the left for us. And that ends up not happening, I think. Hold on. Which teammate is with you here? So it's the charger on the tower here. So yeah, it's your splatter shot on the left. The splatter shot actually does get a pick. But they're so far away at this point that even though they get that pick, the rest of the team is able to force their way in. And so, again, like your splatter shot is actually doing a really good job here because they're taking out somebody who has an angle on the tower. Now, everyone on the tower only has to focus forward. And if you had gotten off the tower, used that Booyah Bomb to occupy this space to the front right, and been able to like hold them back with fizzies and the threat of your damage... The splatter shot cleans up the left. You've got the right held back. Tower gets to advance safely for free. And given that you got through the checkpoint even as it was, that's probably a knockout. And the splatter shot, or maybe the roller, gets someone on the way back in, but they stay in too long and they end up having to trade. There's someone in their base still. That's wild. Ooh, that was... Is that in the video?
Yeah. No, yeah, that's in the
video. That is in the video. Okay.
I don't know why I was doing that.
Okay, so we're each one down. A teammate gets up on the tower. You get on the tower at the same time. Teammate does decide to actually get off the tower. This jump probably dies. Yes. Okay. So unfortunately, because the jump was unsafe, and that's... You can only really blame that much on the jumper. That's... Yeah. It's always the jumper's decision whether it's safe or not. I'm looking for... Yeah, it's hard to see, like... Occasionally, you actually do have some ability to, like, position differently so that when they jump to you, they land somewhere safe. So maybe if you had seen it in time, you could have been like, oh, wait, the tower's not a safe place for this. Let me drop off to the back of the tower so they land and they have the tower for cover immediately. Maybe that's an option. Otherwise, not much you could have done there. And now that player's going to go down. And now you need to back up because now it's a 2v4 at this point. Your teammate is still trying, which should get them splatted. Okay, good job being able to trade back, but your teammate does go down. And good job dealing with that. Although, I think you had information that that player was there a little bit earlier. So, like, yes, you're taking this player out, but right here, we already see shots from this player. And so at this point, like, they should already be the center of our attention. And it looks like you didn't recognize that until they started shooting at you. So that's, you know, anytime you see, like, enemy ink moving anywhere on your screen that you don't expect it, like right here, that's the first thing that should immediately get your attention. Like I say in some of my videos, danger in this game does not come from in front of you most of the time. You only have this very narrow cone of maybe like 10% of your field of view in front of you that you are actually focusing on with the human eye at any point in time. There are much more angles that are in your peripheral vision. And so it's more likely, just statistically speaking, even if they just pick random angles, that an opponent is going to come in from your peripherals. And on top of that, it's just a better play for them to come in from your peripherals because you're less likely to see them that way. And so that's, you know, skews them towards trying to flank you like that. So anytime you see like anything where my mouse is right now, or on this side of the screen, or especially back here, that is a color you don't expect it to be, that's when you really need to just snap to attention and have your aim on that right away. You do respond to this well once you recognize it. That was a situation where the rapid probably could have killed you. I guess they're a little bit worried about the blast, the roller here, but they got a hit. They probably should have just fired another shot and gotten the rest of it. And the roller feeds in to try and create space there. Like, the roller making that play, yes, it protects you, but it does result in them going down. So, unless, like, we had a way to trade back with that. I don't want to call that baiting your teammate, because they made the decision to hop into enemy ink, not you. But, like, being in that position where you're getting hit, like, as soon as you get hit, you need to be taking evasive maneuvers immediately, because otherwise they just finish you off there. And the only reason they didn't finish you off is they got an opportunity to kill your teammate. You are now in a position that's really unsafe, because you're a player down, they know where you are, and you don't really have a good escape route. You can run right or left, but you don't have a lot of cover. And you're able to get that player, which is what makes this safe for the time being. But what's hitting you here? Okay, it's crab tank expo shots. Yeah, if that crab had guessed right on the third shot and landed it directly on you, they splat you there for sure. And that's again because we're down a player and we're not retreating. So one thing that's on my mind right now is the fact that you have special. And in a position like this where you're a player down and they're popping specials and they're starting to push the objective, they clearly at least think they have an advantage. And usually they're right about that sort of thing, usually. So what I'm worried about is that you go down before you get to use this special. That's a common problem in... for whatever reason, I find it's a common problem with Booyah Bomb users specifically. That a lot of the time they just, like, never pop the Booyah. And maybe their thought is, like, oh, I'll just pop this when I'm in danger as a, you know, panic button. But it does take a significant amount of time to start up before you can get the armor on it. So I don't recommend using it that way if that was anyone's thought. But right now, like... this special could be completely stopping the tower push. Like, you put this right about here. Enemy team can't see the tower. Even if this player is outside of the radius, it's a 1v4 for them at that point, and you've completely gotten control in mid back, and your team is respawned, and this player is down, and now you have an advantage. And that fight right there that I just like, in that like half a second that I just showed, you could have gone down and lost the opportunity to use the Booyah. Okay, we do use it here, which is smart. I like... okay, so with Booyah Bombs, you've got to think of it as a displacement special. You're not throwing this to get kills, because that's very unlikely to happen. So let's go back here for a second. So you've got a player right here who's kind of stuck. It's actually interesting how well this map emulates Mahi.
I noticed that too, actually.
Anyway, so you've got a player right here, and they don't have that many places to run. They can back up a little bit more than they can on this map, but what you want to do with the Booyah Bomb is you want to make it so that this player has to move somewhere. It's not that you're going to just like land this dead on this player if they see it coming and actually splat them with it. That's just really unlikely to happen. Like, maybe if you like threw it on the back of a wall and they didn't see it get thrown or something, but you kind of rise up into the air, hold your hand up in the air and yell, "Give me your energy," and sit there for like 3 Dragon Ball Z episodes before you can throw this thing. And even if they don't see all of that, they at least see the thing coming through the air and can project where it's about to land. If it's just a one-on-one match, nobody should ever die to just a Booyah Bomb. What you use the Booyah Bomb for is to force them to move somewhere they don't want to go. So I would want to throw this behind them, like maybe right about here, to force them to go this way. Force them out behind cover. Put it over the, like... So if there is, let's say, a piece of cover right here that they're hiding behind, put it like right here so that there's no way they can use that cover anymore. Now they have to go either this way or take themselves completely out of play, both of which are to your advantage, because this way they're further away from the tower path, and this way they're out in the open without any cover and you can splat them. So that's the thought process behind Booyah. It is a very powerful special that will result in a lot of picks, but it's not going to get the pick itself. And it's especially not going to get it, and here's the big point, because you do cover this cover pretty well with the Booyah Bomb. Like, this is a pretty good placement, actually, I would say. The problem is that we don't follow up on it. They're not going to die to that. What they would die to is if you just kept an eye on where they had to swim because of it, swam straight to them, and splatted them while they're forced to be moving instead of shooting.
Yeah.
So now I think they can just get back and play. Yeah, they're the one who threw that that toxic mist. They're the one who just shot you, and they're the one who just splatted you. If you take the time to just go and, finish off that pick that you basically earned yourself for free before you get on tower, now this player's out of the picture. That defense never happens. Ooh. Okay, so we're already 2 down at this point. We're already in a 2v4. And another one goes down as we're looking at the map. This is the only player remaining. Now, right now, it doesn't look like there are any enemy players. Part of that is because it doesn't show undamaged enemy players, especially if... I think if they're in their own ink, I forget if it still shows them if they're in their own ink, or if the reason it doesn't show them anymore is because they're healing it, and so they get below the damage threshold where you can see them. But you don't know necessarily that there isn't a player right here based on this map screen. Also, because the enemy team is 4 up, and this is the only player remaining, and this player is in the way of the tower path, it's very, very likely that this player gets pushed in the next second or two. These players, you think about the objective line, which is literally drawn on the map in tower control. So it's going to be something like this, I think. They're going to push forward on the objective line, and your teammate is there. So they're very likely to try and occupy this space right away. And jumping into this is not safe based on the information that you can see right here. And there they go down. So it was actually like 2 seconds, right as I called it. And the fact that you spin that is even kind of a miracle. Because this is literally a 1v4 situation. The entire enemy team only has you to focus on. So getting away with that trade is, you know, well played mechanically. Good job taking advantage of their massive blunder. But you can't, you know, look at that and say that that was the best outcome that you could have had if you'd made a different decision. Okay. So right here, we can actually see out in the left corner that there is a player right here. And the way that our teammate moves, you know, you would expect them to be trying to paint this up and start moving forward. If they end up like moving backwards, if they're like shooting at something that seems very specific, that's another hint that we've got an opponent on us. So we do eventually notice, because there's a bomb that's rolled around the corner here, and we're able to help our teammate win this. This is great because the teammate was right on top of that bomb. So they had to move. They probably got damaged a little bit. They probably needed a little bit of help. And you come in right at exactly the right time to help them with it, and they're able to finish it off. That's a really great job helping your teammate in that fight. And now we shift our attention to stopping the checkpoint, which is perfect. That's exactly what you needed to do. That player was in between you and the objective, and so you took them out, but now we're done here. Quick note on InkVac. This is something that is probably very difficult to set up outside of coordinated play, but the counter to InkVac is actually to, you know, the game tells you, oh, don't feed the InkVac, don't make its explosion radius bigger. Actually, there is a good argument to be made that most of the time you should fill the InkVac, because there is a gap between when it's using the vacuum to suck things in and when it fires its shot out. And so if you have two players each shooting at the InkVac from off angles so that it can only shoot the vac at one of them and not hit both at the same time, while it's firing that shot, the other one splats it, and now all the other one has to do is dodge the shot. So there's actually an argument that you want to be filling this and getting rid of it faster so that the suction is having less of an impact on the match. But I think the call right now is, look at how blue the map is right now. Mm-hmm. You don't have map control right now, and this player over here is the only one who's left. So let's take the time that they're spending not putting ink on the map and put ink around them where they're not using suction right now. Because staying on tower is not making it so that when the opposing team jumps in, you're going to have anywhere else to go. From this point, any move that you make to get off the tower is dropping off a ledge into enemy ink. And if you've seen my TikToks, you know how that tends to go.
Yeah.
So what we could have done instead of being on the tower here is let the tower be for a second. We have lead. We have all of our checkpoints gone. If we get a good, you know, advantage state here, we're going to be able to push this to KO pretty quickly. But we don't need to push it. We've only got 2 minutes left. You know, most of the game is done, and they haven't been able to clear second checkpoint yet, let alone third. We can take our time a little bit. And taking our time will make it so that this fight in mid is going a lot more likely to be successful. And you're not going to, excuse me, end up dropping into a fight that you're going to lose. The roller actually also has a pretty good answer to the InkVac in that you can just run it over. And that's what they do there, but then they're probably going to get traded back here, I would guess. Yep, that's exactly what happens. So, taking stock of what's happened there, it is 3v3, but then the roller goes down right here. With this much action going on in mid, with this much blue ink, again, I would not be jumping to this, even though there's a big bubbler. Because for all you know, someone is currently shredding the big bubbler, and it will be down by the time you get there. But one of the red flags in my head that like immediately triggers like an instinctive response is if I'm super jumping and there's blue ink anywhere near that jump. And it's surrounding this jump, actually. So as soon as you land from it, where do you even go? You use the tower for cover, and that's about all you've got. So you survive thanks to the big bubbler. Again, we're not taking any mid control. We're not painting any of this. So we don't have room to maneuver, and we're just putting ourselves on the tower again, where we're bunched up for the opponents to shoot at. And there, like, you didn't really have many places to run. You can back up, but you don't have any cover. If you try to go left, you're running an enemy ink. If you try to go right, you're not getting out of their line of fire. Very congested map. And the super jumps that are coming in are... This is the kind of super jump situation that, like, can potentially lead to the other team getting an advantage and making a comeback. Because what's happening is we're going down 1 or 2 at a time, and then super jumping into the 2 that are left in a 2v4 over and over again. So we're another one down, and now this player was alone, and they're down, and now you're the last player in between the tower and the checkpoint. Now, when that happens, it can be a common kind of habit to go straight for the tower and panic and try and stop it right away. But you've got to remember that there are other players besides the tower rider, and you are now the only player they're looking at. And if they're doing what it takes to win the game at all, they know that they need to clear you away from the tower because you are aggressing the number one thing they're most likely to be looking at. So from here, you should not expect to be able to defend safely, especially with something like a rapid blaster on the other team that's going to be able to hit up over this ledge. And in fact, you are not safe to do so. They do pick you off there and are able to keep pushing the tower, and now it's getting scary. Because now your team is in a 3v3. It was a 3v4. They end up getting the splash at some point here. What happens to the splash? Okay, the charger picks off the splash. That's a good play. But if not for that shot, your team is now in a 3v4, and they're approaching the final checkpoint with only 15 ticks left before they're at checkpoint, or before they're at lead, by the time you're just getting into the respawn platform. Like, this entire defense is now up to your team to make because you tried to go in without them first. It is this situation right here that makes it so that they end up getting as close as they do to being able to take lead. Because you don't need to defend right now. You can give up this checkpoint. It's a 1v4. You're very unlikely to be able to stop the checkpoint. You're very close to a booyah bomb as well. If you let them get through the checkpoint but just paint and get the booyah bomb, then what happens is they get through second checkpoint, but then your entire team is alive. You throw a booyah bomb on tower, push over.
Yeah.
So let's see how this breaks down. So one of them had already gone down. Okay, team is able to hold. But push to 23, definitely a spooky one. From here, I would be playing just to keep myself alive and keep that booyah bomb. As soon as they get too close to lead, yeah, you can pop the booyah bomb and throw it. But ideally, you just, like, stall them out until the very end of the game for another, like, 35 seconds, and then you pop the booyah bomb, win the game. I guess you could... You've got enough time that you can probably just launch it now and have another one farmed by the time you need it for the end of the game. That's probably the better call. It's probably what the top player would do. Just keep the tempo up. Because, like, all the time that you've spent in the last 12 or 13 seconds painting has not been contributing to you getting special charge, is the thought. So if you throw the booyah bomb to end that push and also get some space back and let your team back in, then you have time before the end of the game to charge a booyah bomb and have the second one. But yeah, and from here, again, you don't need to be pushing the tower. Your teammate's going to do it, so that's fine, but... oh, and they have a DC, too.
Oh, I didn't even notice that. That's unfortunate.
Yeah. Yeah, that was an awful time for them to have an EDC too. And now GG Booyah. Well played. That goes on tower. Overtime starts, and you are on tower before any of them have a chance to get up. A little bit of a movement flub there. That sort of thing, if they're right on top of things, can actually be a problem, because then it's one-on-one on the tower, and you have to win the 1v1 against them. But you have exactly the right idea, and obviously you're going to work on that not happening. So, yeah, well played at the very end. That is exactly what you do with Booyah Bomb. It is one of the most actually, I would say at this point, it is the most powerful special in tower control for its ability to do exactly that. As soon as you have a lead, you can just GG Booyah as soon as they start getting close to being able to do anything, and they can't do anything anymore. Really, really powerful choice there. So, yeah, well played being able to hold them off at the end. And 19 KA to speak for it, so very solid for you. Do you have any questions for me?
I don't really know, honestly. You gave me some great advice
Thank you.
already. And I don't really think I have any questions right now.
Okay. And if you have more, you're always welcome to just drop me a DM on Discord, and I'll do my best to get to those. So, all right.
Okay.
So thank you very much to both you, Taekwon Bird, and to TheWorGuy for being our VOD reviewees. For those of you in chat, oh hey, it automatically put the links in there already. That's so nice of it. So for any of you in chat who are interested, my links are posted there in chat, the Linktree link that you see there. If you want to get one of these VOD reviews, you get those by DMing me on Discord, and then we'll set up a schedule, a scheduled time. We're looking at mid-November at this point for the next available slot. If you are interested in getting one of these VOD reviews, but Tuesday doesn't work for you, or you want it to be earlier or something like that, I do have a Medify account. Just I do charge for those appointments because I would otherwise be spending that time making videos and, you know, doing work to grow the channel. So I need something to, you know, make that just a responsible idea for me to be doing. So those are the two options for getting this kind of coaching from me. In those links, you will also find my TikTok, my Twitter, my YouTube, my Twitch, you know, whatever streaming site you're not watching it on right now, and my Patreon account. I am trying to do content creation on a full-time basis, and really appreciate any of the support that you can provide to help me be able to do that. It's looking optimistic right now. The channel has grown an awful lot, and so, you know, fingers crossed this might actually be able to become my job, which is sick. But, you know, we're not sure yet, and so every little bit does count. And I really appreciate all of the support that's been given me so far, and all of the kind words that I've been getting for the work that we're doing here. So that is all that I have to share for now. So we're going to go and we're going to raid another streamer whose identity has yet to be chosen. We're gonna see Milana. Milana is who we are going to raid. That's the person. Milana is a competitive Splatoon player, plays for a team called Element R, and has been around forever. Very, very kind and inviting person. Who has been a huge member of the Splatoon community as a content creator in the past, and continues to be today. One of the, you know, best on-roads into the competitive community, is also a teacher, fun fact. So good at explaining new concepts, and so always happy to support the work that she's doing, and so we're going to raid Milana. Last question here. What did you think about me going on Meta 5 with the premise of getting players worse at the game? That probably won't work because they will probably just reject your proposal there. Nice try though. Nice try. Not Metafy, but maybe Fiverr. all right. I see the scheme. We're heading over to Milana, everybody. Thanks for watching. You have a nice night.
Well, thank you again